Hey, everybody. It's Tanya Smith here with Stream Like a Boss TV. It is our Thursday, and I am super excited and thrilled, as always, to be here with you this evening. Now, I am on a little bit late, later than normal, but that's okay. We're here. I did have a networking event earlier this evening with an amazing group of women, and I needed to push the time back because I wanted to make sure to be with you this evening on our live stream. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your very first time being here on the show, make sure you put in hashtag newbie. You just need to type in hashtag newbie. And if you have been here before, you are now officially family, and we want you to type in hashtag OG. One of the things that I'm going to double check real quick here is to make sure that we are broadcasting live on all of our channels, because we did have a little bit of a hiccup, to be honest with you. There was something a little funky about when I scheduled it, but I know I do see John Lacey in the house. What's up? Good to see you, sir. There's Erica Bates, Talk Virtual. Love to see you as well. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Like I said, I know we're a little later, although that may not matter for you, John, being in Australia and all. I don't know if this helps your schedule a little bit or if it works. You are shocked to see me live, Dan? Nope, I'm live. I'm live. Look, I know that there have been some events that have kept people from operating the way that they normally do, including myself. But one of the things that I know is that sometimes we have to dig a little deeper, and we've got to do the things that we need to do. So I got my big girl pants on. I'm out and I'm doing the things that I know need to be done. That's where I am. And I hope you are too. It's lunchtime where you are, John Lacey. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I will share with you what we're going to be talking about this evening. This is a topic that we've talked a little bit about before, but I felt like I needed to do a little bit of a refresh. And we're going to talk about how live streaming can build trust and also save you time. Those are really the two big reasons why I absolutely love live streams. So I just gave you the whole entire episode, and I can go ahead and just do a mic drop right now because that is the answer. If we're talking about live stream versus pre-recorded, also known as on demand, those really are the answers to why I think there's a difference and why I prefer live streaming over pre-recorded videos for the win. But we can do a little bit deeper dive, especially for those of you who are watching for the first time, who are considering doing some live streaming, or maybe you've been doing live, but you're not quite sure of what the difference could be if you switch to pre-recorded videos. And then there's another question. That question is, should you do both? We can talk about that too. All right. Yep, I see those questions in there. Gary Jones Jr. in the house. Look, I'm definitely going to pop up your comments because I want to acknowledge everybody for being here. Thank you so much. But first, I got to do our normal routine, of course. So if you don't have a pen, a notepad and a pen, now is a good time for you to go get that. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do it. Grab your favorite cup of hydration. I'm going to do some water because I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to do better in a lot of ways, y'all. But water is one of my Achilles heels, so I'm doing better with drinking water. But you find your favorite cup of hydration, whatever that may be, grab that. And on the other side of this video, we're going to talk a little shop. We're going to talk about live streaming versus pre-recorded videos and what the difference is and why I have my preference as it is. I'll share with you what it is, although you can probably guess because you're here. All right, I'll see you on this other side of this short video. And again, if you're new to the show, feel free to go ahead and pop in hashtag newbie. If you've been here before, I want you to pop in a hashtag OG so we can acknowledge you. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and type in a hashtag replay for me too, okay? Make sure that you're liking, following, and all of the things when it comes to the channel. And I'll see you on the other side of this video so we can talk shop. Okay? All right. righty, folks. So, Tanya Smith here with Stream Like a Boss TV, and I am going to be talking this evening with you about how live streaming can build trust and save you time. These are really the main reasons why I prefer to do live streaming over pre recorded. Now, I know there are a lot of people who prefer pre recorded, also known as VODs or videos on demand. But I absolutely want to talk to you a little bit about the power of going live and how it can really help you, especially if you're doing a service business of sorts. Now, what I want to do before we dive deep into this is I want to go ahead and acknowledge some folks that are in the comments. So let me make sure I pull you up and say hello. Yes, yes, yes. And John, I, of course, will not drop my expensive mic. We'll just drop the pin instead of the mic. Gary Jones says, greetings to everyone. Wonderful to see you. Of course, Talk Virtual is in the house, the queen of virtual summits and all things virtual events. Love it. John Lacey, of course, is the king of live streaming, learning live streaming with John Lacey. I know you were using more OBS, but now you're moving into the Restream world. I think I saw a video pop up about that, which is awesome. I agree, Erica, that water tastes better in a cold glass. Gary Jones is an OG. What's up? I know it. I know it. Let's do this. In case you weren't awake, because it's an hour later than we normally go live, I think that will help you out. Jay Byron, fixed point. Love it. Hey, what's up, Jay? I love to see you here. So thank you so much for being here with me. Let me go ahead and pop myself back up on camera. And we're going to get into talking about this topic of ours this evening. And the topic is we're talking live streaming versus pre-recorded. Like, what's the purpose? What's the reason why I love live so much? It's funny because, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I actually attended a networking event this evening. And of course, that's why I have a jacket on and I look a little bit more formal than I normally do in my t-shirt and sometimes baseball cap. I had to dress up and be a grown up today. But it's funny because oftentimes, of course, in these events, you get asked, so what do you do? And so you have your elevator speech. And of course, I talk about live stream marketing and how that's one of, my favorite passions right now. And then you get the next question, which is why live? Why live instead of doing, the produced videos? And I will tell you all that one of the things I can honestly say is that when I first thought about doing any type of video, my first thought is that I have to do it the way that others are doing it. And at the time, not a lot of people that I knew, at least not in the business coaching world, were doing live streams. Produced videos is where everyone was being pushed at that time. And specifically, I remember, and thank you for that compliment, Erica. Yeah, this is a fun one, isn't it? I remember, I can't remember how much I paid, but I swear to you, it probably was at least $1,000 to do this. So I was doing something with a company, I think it was called Video Bio. And they may still be around, but just in a different form today. But they were really kind of in the field. So business coaches, people who attended different ICF or, International Coaching Federation meetings and that type of thing, these folks would be really connected into those type of organizations. And so you see them a lot at networking events. And I remember making the decision that I wanted to do a video bio. And so what this experience is like is where you pretty much, I, living in Dallas, had to drive pretty far, probably darn near an hour and a half, maybe 90 minutes or so to get to the studio. I had to pack my car. I had to put all kinds of different outfits, jackets, shirts, and that type of thing. Had to get makeup done, hair done, all of that. Had to get these different scripts that they give you when you arrive and had to memorize, right, these different scripts. And then had to sit in this chair, sit in different seats, find different poses that work for you, and record. And all of this cost a lot of money. It took a lot of time just to get a simple, less than a minute video done. And so the thought of having to do that type of work, right? Every time I decided to do a video, just overwhelmed me and felt like, no, not interested in doing that. And I'm telling you, now you don't have to do it in that way, of course, because now we have a lot of, if you're really into doing produced videos and that's for you, you probably either have hired someone as an editor or maybe you're learning to produce and edit your own. So if you're doing your own videos, there's access to you now for affordable cost to buy certain types of platforms and to learn, to teach yourself how to do editing. There's CapCut. A lot of people are using that. People are using native platforms that come with your computer. People are using all kinds of different things, right? So whatever it is you're using, yeah, that still may be appealing to you, and it's much less expensive today to do video than it was when I first did that video bio. But I just had this aversion to spending all that time creating, and I wanted the ability to be able to create quickly. I wanted something that was going to fit my lifestyle. I needed something that was going to fit into all the other responsibilities that I have during the day and the week. Right. And especially because my kids were younger, full-time job, all of those things, I did not want to put that type of energy into it. And so I made the decision then that if I'm going to get into this video thing, if I'm going to try it, I'm going to just do live streaming because I wanted the ability to be able to move quickly. I didn't want to have to do a bunch of editing, which now you can even do on the fly. And I shared this a couple of videos back about how I do this with Riverside FM, right? Some people use the script, but I didn't want to have to mess with any of that because I was just trying to get the wheels turning. Like I was just trying to make the effort to even put my face on camera in the first place. So what can happen is when you allow it to become way too complicated, if video feels complicated and overwhelming to you, you're less likely to do it. Am I right? And so I needed to remove barriers to get things out of the way so that I could really go all in, because some of you know my story, and I talk a little bit about how when I did make the decision to start doing video more regularly, and that I said it was going to be a central part of my marketing strategy, my goal was to do it once a week for an entire year. So in doing that, knowing myself, knowing how I operate, I knew I needed to make it simplified. I knew it needed to be uncomplicated, and it couldn't take a whole lot of time. So enter live streaming. And that is the reason why I started live, is because I did not want it to take too much time or too much money either. I didn't want to have to go and pay an editor $500 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever it was that was being charged. And those were some of the quotes that I was getting at the time, by the way, for editing, which now, if you get a good editor, you're going to pay, right? If you are hiring out, because it takes time. Maybe you can find affordable people on sites like Fiverr, et cetera, but to get a really good editor, you're going to pay. And I wasn't prepared to do that. What I was prepared to do is to at least make the commitment and to make an effort to be on camera. So when I talk to you about live streaming versus pre-recorded, I'll share the three key things, the three key message points that I want to share with you are going to hopefully influence you to consider live streaming. Now, you don't have to do it exactly like I'm doing it, but I think that maybe I can give you some ideas. And if you've got questions, I want you to definitely pop those into the chat as well. Thank you for that compliment. Let me pop up some comments. If you do have questions, pop them on in here. Yeah, look, Erica, editing, it's not just that it seems like a lot of work, but it can be a lot of work depending on how you're doing it and what your end game is. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about creating video in-house, sometimes literally from your home office. all the time for me is really from my home office. It's in the studio that I have over time created for myself to be able to connect with you. And it wasn't an overnight process. It wasn't something that I just did overnight. Yeah, you needed a nap after hearing the process for the video bio. I'm telling you, it's true. Live is real time editing. Now, for those of you who know, recently, within the past week, I had the pleasure of going to meet up with my dear friend, Kirk Nugent, who is an amazing live stream guru, genius, if you will. And so when I went to his studio and saw all the things that he had set up, oh my goodness, man, I had a lot of FOMO. Some people call it GAS, gear acquisition syndrome. Like I was looking and it was like Christmas. There were just toys everywhere. And it did give me some really great ideas, which I told him today. I was like, yeah, I ordered that Mac Mini M4. I ordered it because it comes out tomorrow. But you don't have to have all the gear. I'm a gearhead now because I love playing with new tech. I love being able to really get creative. You've seen some of the scenes that I've used tonight, some that I've purchased from Live Streaming Pros, some that I've created myself. Your ability to put yourself on camera and to do live streaming gives you so much versatility. You can have your whole variety show going. You can have different scenes, which I'll be doing more of in 2025. I've got plans for some stuff, some exciting things, but you can create whatever you want. And what I love about live streaming is that it becomes an experience for the people on the other side of the camera. It's an experience. It's like you're connecting in a whole different way. I was asked a couple weeks ago to come and speak for an organization, a group of people who had formerly mentored me, and now I get to come in and give back to the people who they're mentoring now. And they were asking me to come to the location, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to be talking about video, it's easier for me to show versus to tell. And when you use video and you use it strategically and you use it creatively, you have a lot of different options. The possibilities are endless of what you can create with video. But it doesn't have to be time consuming and it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just a matter of you having a vision and making some decisions about how you want to present yourself and to connect. So here's my 3 tips on why I don't just think, for me, I know. Now, what I know applies to me. I'm going to give you these ideas. I'm going to share what I think. But in the end, it's up to you to decide what really works for you because there may be some differences, okay? But I want to share with you 3 reasons why I think live streaming is so amazing. And again, if you do have comments or questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. Let me see. I got a comment here from Learn Live Streaming with John Lacey. He says, gear can be such fun. Had a bad week? Treat yourself in moderation. I know, right? That's probably one of the reasons why I went a little bit crazy, but not too crazy. I have some plans, and I definitely needed to make sure to upgrade my studio a little bit. So I have some things coming in, and I'll have to do a review on the gear when I get it all in place. I'll do a new review, a revised version of my studio walkthrough. But let's get to the point. So live streaming. Here's the first reason why I think that live is so much, for me, I want to say it's better, okay? You still may find that in your life, in your reality, in your experience, video on demand or produced videos work better. But for me, from a scheduling standpoint, it is easier for me to be able to manage the workflow because my workflow does not consist of a lot of complicated pre-production or after or post-production activities. Yes, I have checklists at every step of the way. I have workflows in place, but it's much more simplified because I'm not necessarily having to edit. Now, one thing that Kirk and I talked about when I was at his studio is he, much like me, but he's well more advanced in this space, when he's creating his live, he's doing so in such a way that it's going to make it easier to cut it up and repurpose it later. We do it differently, but we both do that. So if you are looking, and you should be thinking about how to multiply yourself and how to create produced content from your live stream, you absolutely have the ability to do both. And as Erica mentioned earlier, doing both is probably the most ideal situation. But if you have to pick one, live streaming can build authenticity and trust. Not build authenticity. It allows you to display and demonstrate authenticity, but it can build trust. And the reason for that is because people are craving authenticity right now. They're craving you to be honest and genuine with them, you to be real and to tell the truth. Because there's a lot of non-truth telling going on. Let me just say that. When you are truthful, when you are honest, when you're showing yourself to be the person behind the business, like you are the human, right? Not just a bot, not just someone who is selling something, but you're a true human being talking to other humans, you're more likely to build the trust factor. And people do business with those they what? They know, like, and trust. And so your job is to humanize your brand. Your job, and look, I used to say this, I said this like 10 years ago when I was talking to people about promoting their brand, right? But I'm saying it even more so now, because more so now than ever, we're in the process of having to compete with non-humans when it comes to marketing strategy. We're seeing people that I literally cloned myself the other day, y'all, using, I think it was Captions AI, has a clone. So you can record yourself and then you can literally see yourself, like your own face, speaking words, and it's definitely not you really talking. You can create these videos that look very realistic. Now, personally, it was a little freaky to me. And I don't feel the need to have to use that at a great length because I don't mind getting on camera and talking. But it's interesting because I think that there are subtle differences in the way that these clones and that these bot versions of videos today, they're not quite smooth enough to be human. And I don't want anyone questioning that I am a real person. And I feel like live streaming gives you the ability to truly show off the fact that you're a person having conversations with real people. You're sharing your expertise. You're engaging with your audience in real time. You're building trust. I'm checking for comments and for questions. Let's see. Yeah. All of this. So, okay. One of the comments that John Lacey is popping up, and I might need to switch scenes in just a second. I'll see if I can do that here. I'll pop it up right here, and then I'll give this a background so people can see what you're saying. I think that it's really cool. Here. Come on, pop up. There we go. I'm going to pop it up again right there. Scene switching, toggling visibility of different sources, having a show run doc, all ways that I edit live. Exactly. So you can do editing. You can do a produced version of your live stream simply by strategically putting that stream together. But the power of live is that authenticity. The power of live is that you're real. The power of live is that if somebody's ringing the doorbell, if the dog's barking, and y'all, my dog just had surgery a couple of days ago, so I'm surprised he hasn't barked yet. But you know that's real. I'm not editing that out because it's my real life. And a lot of people are into reality TV these days. So your live stream becomes your very own reality TV. So the authenticity and your ability to really be able to speak on a human level your ability to be genuinely you, like you in all your glory, whatever that looks like for you. You talking about things like I did the other night that maybe you normally wouldn't even talk about, but it was on your heart, it was on your mind, and it came out with some measure. Right? I'll say that. I'm not telling you to just go completely buck wild and unfiltered unless that's your brand. But the authenticity will really connect with people in a way that I think produced video doesn't all the time. Produced video is much more perfected, more structured, depending on how it is edited. And what I'm seeing, and I don't know if you all are seeing this too, what I'm seeing is that the stuff that actually does very well when it comes to your short videos, your produced videos, all of that, the things that do well right now are those that don't look quite as polished. It's those scenes, those video clips that look like, hey, I just came off of a run and now I'm talking to you. Or I just walked upstairs into, my studio office and now I'm having conversation with you like we're having right now, right? Now, I still love a good polished look. Don't get me wrong, but you have the ability to use that in addition to simply just the conversation like we're having right now in the chat. So authenticity and trust, you can answer questions on the spot. So that's number 2. Number 2 is instant interaction and feedback. The second reason that live streaming to me is the winner is that you get the opportunity to have a genuine back and forth with people. So they can ask you questions right now. Let's say, for instance, that somebody says, you know what? Hey, I've been struggling with X. And you acknowledge them and say, hey, I understand. I hear what you're saying. And here's a couple of things that you can think about. Maybe you should try these things. This is one of the reasons why I love to do Q&A. And I'll be incorporating more of those days on live streams for our 2025 plan. This year, I've got to finish up completing some of this strategic thought leadership type of content, but then we're going to be adding guests back again. And we're also going to be doing more interactive segments where we're inviting you from the audience onto our video cams with some restrictions, of course. Right? We need to know you're part of the fam, and there will be some boundaries in place. But these are things that I have in mind because I absolutely love the genuine interaction and the real-time feedback. So imagine that you're thinking about launching a program and you're putting that program together, and before you start spending all the money, the time, and the effort to do that, you actually share the vision of what it is you're trying to create and what you want to launch. And you're getting real feed time, like feedback. People are telling you for real, like, here's what I like, here's what I don't like, here's what I need, here's what I don't need. So you literally have your R&D team, your research and development is going on right there in the stream. That's super valuable, and that's the type of feedback you can't necessarily get with a produced video. You can, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Thank you so much for that. Radiant Spire Atilia in the house. She said, you have mastered live streaming so well, because at some point I realized it's not just about doing video. It's about having beautiful conversations with people that I absolutely love. Thank you for the compliments. The clips from your live streams are great. That's another thing that's possible, is that you are able to create strategically produced video clips by nature of what you talk about in your live streams. So if you have created and planned out your stream in such a way that you're delivering key message points, you can now go back in using something like Opus Clips or Menvo Pro or Descript or Riverside FM, and now you can easily find those key message points and turn those into video clips. So I love that there's so much versatility. Not only is it that you're getting that instant interaction and feedback and you're building the trust, but you also have an instant way to produce more content. So out of a 45-minute video that I create, I could have 10 to 20 different pieces of content just from that single video, just from the effort that I put in for that 45 minutes to an hour, or if it's a 20-minute video, however long your live streams are, you get to produce additional content that continues to keep you visible 24/7, which gets me to tip number 3, or the reason number 3 that I think live streaming is so amazing. And I already shared this. Remember, we talked about time saving and cost effective. It's more cost effective because you're not necessarily having to outsource production of the video if you don't want to. I went for years without doing any type of edits or production of my live streams because what I wanted to do is simply build my muscle in doing live streams and being more consistent. And that, by the way, is one of the keys to success with streaming. Is it's not about just going live one time and then hoping and praying and maybe somebody will come and watch the replay. No, it's about repetitively coming back and nurturing your community. Just like you would your email community, you're nurturing your live stream community. So I love that I see so many OGs that are here because you're part of my family of live stream audience members. You're part of the Stream Like a Boss TV family. And this is why I ask you at the very beginning, hey, let's identify you as an OG or as a newbie, because we want to acknowledge you either way. And I want to thank you and show my gratitude either way, whichever bucket you fall into. So you have that ability to be able to do those things to nurture community through live streaming. The time saving and cost saving thing, it's budget friendly because produced videos can literally take hours of planning, framing, filming, editing, re-editing in order for you to get it ready to even put out and publish. Now, there are a lot of people that can do this very effectively and quickly. I'm not one of them. I'm going to just be honest because I started shooting myself to death. Well, maybe I should have done this. And so I'll record and I'll produce again. And then I'll say, I don't like it. So if you're like me, you're one of those people who is constantly degrading yourself because you don't like how you look or sound on camera, again, live streaming could be for you because you don't have enough time to try to sit there and critique yourself to death. Instead, what you're doing is you're doing what you need to do, and then you're getting off, right? So the time saving is sometimes in the saving yourself from yourself and your own critique. And I think live streaming effectively allows you to do that. Instead of you saying, but wait a minute, I'm not polished enough. It needs to look more perfect. People don't expect you to be perfect when you're live streaming. They just expect to get the content, to be in community with you, to have dialogue and conversation. And that, to me, is the beautiful thing about live streaming. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for reminding folks to like if you're here. And she's on YouTube. We also have, I believe, some folks that are on LinkedIn. We also have some folks that may be trickling in on Facebook. We'll see. Editing is a skill a person can learn, but especially for perfectionists, it can be a trap. That's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm saying. And so what we don't want is to edit ourselves into oblivion. Like there is no stream, there is no content because we kept looking at it over and over again and saying it's still not ready. So instead of being that person, what I really want you to consider is live streaming for the simple fact that it may be the one thing that gets you moving with video, that gets you doing the video in the first place. Because you can click the go button, and then when you end, you end. I want to see if anyone has questions. If you do, go ahead and pop those into the chat. So my 3 reasons why I personally prefer live streaming are: 1, it's about building that trust. So you could literally show your authenticity and build trust in the process. Number two is that it gives you instant interaction and feedback because as people are there with you, they're giving you that feedback, they're giving you that energy. And that energy sometimes is as well is something that will help you to continue to go and to produce. It's really harder for me nowadays to actually create course content or pre-produced content without having an audience. And so one of the things that I've done in the past to build a course is to actually have a live studio audience that watched, and I gave them a discount to access the course content, but they watched while I recorded. And that way they could give me instant feedback so I could make tweaks and add different things later to that course. So there's another idea for you. But the instant interaction and feedback. And then finally, number three is that it's time saving and cost effective. No longer do I have to go across town driving 90 minutes and wasting gas, sitting, for a half a day to a full day just to get 5 seconds of a video. I don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do that anymore. Now you have the opportunity of literally, if you just wanted to use your phone would be sufficient. These phones these days, y'all, look, I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which I absolutely love, by the way. I still miss my Samsung, I'm not going to lie, but this thing is golden. The pictures that I've been able to take with this are just ridiculously clear. The video, whew, I mean, sometimes it's darn near as good as my DSLR cam. And when we have Eden Lou on to talk about Camo Studio, we're going to talk about how to actually make your phone into a DSLR style cam to give you that look, right? But I love that the fact that we're in this situation today where we have access to so much technology and access in a way that is affordable to anyone who wants to use their voice on camera to share their message, whether it's a cause, a hobby, or a business. You have the ability to do that now without having to spend a ton of money or energy. And that's why I'm saying I really think live streaming is probably the missing link for some people that they don't know they need. And I encourage you to really think about it. I see that Samsung is great. Some of the folks in my community, we have a little war going, a battle going between Apple products and everything else. So they're going to love that. I had to put that up for them. I love it. Yeah, part of the reason I embrace technology is that I don't enjoy travel. I get it, John. I hear you on this. Sometimes travel can be really complex. Sometimes getting out of my house and going down the street or just coming home tonight was almost a nightmare. You're sitting in traffic. If you live in a metropolitan area like I do, that can be a beating. So just think about it. We don't have to do all those things anymore in order for us to be able to get our points across. Cornelius Hill, wonderful to see you. Now, Cornelius, I'm not sure if I have met you before. Follow on TikTok. Thank you. You know what? I'm going to be doing more on TikTok, I think, as long as it sticks around. I think I want to do more out there. We're going to do some more vertical video streaming because, frankly, I've been doing a lot more horizontal and I do more on YouTube these days. But part of the reason is because I set a goal. So I'm going to put this out there for those of you who are thinking about doing live streams. I can give you a couple of tips if that's going to be helpful for you. I think I will do that. Let's give you a couple of tips. One of the tips that I would give you is that you really need to consider planning out your live stream in such a way that you are able to easily repurpose it. We can talk more about structure in another video in the future. I'll do that. Awesome, Cornelius. I would love to meet you. But another tip I would give you about live streaming is that you want to pick times that really are going to be, your energy level is going to be high enough to really do it right. And the people who you want in your corner are going to be watching. If you're missing one of those two elements, it's not going to be as great of a stream. The end product won't be as great as it could be. I'm not going to say it's going to be bad, but I'm going to say one of the things that I learned over time after doing it, after doing streaming early on, is that I was trying to force myself to do it at times that did not really fit my energy level. And so when I started tracking that using apps, and there's an app, for instance, that I use that's called Rise. It's on iPhone, but it might also be on Android on Google Play Store. But it's called Rise, and that helped me to track during the day when my energy levels were high, when they were low, when I needed a nap, right? When I was likely to be more productive, those type of things. And you can probably find other apps out there that are similar, right? That will do something like that. But I really wanted to make sure that I took the time to kind of understand when I was going to feel at my best to be able to give my best on camera. John made a really great comment as well. Time zones can be tricky, but people can watch the replay later. Yeah, because I've got people that come and that they watch from other countries, just like John and some other folks that I know are constantly in the community. And while I would love to be on at exactly the time that they're awake and ready, I can't always guarantee that. So you want to try your best to find the time that, again, your ideal community of people will most likely be on, but also when are you going to feel at your best so that you can really give the energy that is needed? Because the camera can drain you a little bit. So you need to be a little bit more upbeat. I find myself sometimes falling into that zone, right? Where I'm tired or I'm really in my introverted mode. And you have to be mindful of that and give the energy that is needed through the camera. So just a couple of tips. We can talk more about some tips. If you all have questions about live streaming, I want you to definitely make sure you pop those into the chat so that we could do a video on your specific topic or giving you some ideas and solutions and resources to help you. Okay. Tonight I am a little tired, but for more reasons than one. This week has been a strain. Just been a strain and a brain drain. But what we do know is that we move forward. We don't move back. We move forward and we do what needs to be done. Let's see. I went on Tech Troublemakers Live at 11 p.m. at night, and I learned I'm an old man who should be asleep. That's hilarious. Okay, I do see a question. The question from Cornelius is, what type of equipment are you using currently? Okay, so I got a lot. I got a lot of things going. So my question for you is, do you mean my audio video? So specifically, like, what's my mic and what camera am I using? Because I also have lights and I'm about to do an upgrade. So I mentioned earlier, Cornelius, that I'm going to be doing a new, like a studio walkthrough 2.0. I have an older studio walkthrough that's on my YouTube channel right now that was so much fun to create, but it's time for me to do a new one because I do have a new setup. I have a lot of different things, but I use a Rodecaster Pro 2. This is a Shure MV7X mic. You've seen me kind of do my camera switching a little bit. So this right here is what is this? I've got so many cameras. This is my Osmo Pocket 2 right here. It's my Osmo Pocket 2, so I use that. I've got 3 other cameras. I don't have any of them on except for my DSLR, which is a Sony a6400 that I'm looking into right now. And then there's various lights and such. But yeah, did you ever start using your Stream Deck? Great question. And the answer is no. I actually took it off my desk because I just don't use it. I don't use it effectively. I never did. It was one of those pieces of equipment that I knew everybody else has. And honestly, when I saw Kirk's studio the other day, I was like, maybe I need to pull that back out. But he also has an Elgato foot pedal that can control different scenes as well, which I kind of like that idea because you can use the foot pedal to control scenes instead of using your hands at all. So that was neat. Now, the only thing is, I'm a little concerned about the whole walking and chewing gum at the same time because I don't always do that well. I don't know about you, but if you can do that, I don't know about the feet. The foot pedal thing would probably be a little confusing to me. Yeah, and see, so you use two of your stream decks and you'd be lost without it. And I was never using mine at all. And I even spent time with India Delgado to learn how to use the doggone thing properly, and I just wasn't using it effectively. That's crazy. Yes, there is an Elgato Stream Deck plugin for Ecamm, but I wasn't using it, John. So I had all the programs, the buttons programmed to move between scenes, right? Which we can talk about that on another video too. I can show you if anybody has questions on how to set up those type of tools, I can show you how to do it. You just have to make a decision that you're going to use it. So one of the shows that we need to do before Christmas comes, ooh, if I can get that in before Christmas comes, is we probably need to do a video where we talk about choosing and budgeting for live stream gear. Like, how do you make those decisions? We need to do another version of those. Yes, I am using currently a mouse and keyboard shortcuts. It's just easier for me. Because I kept resorting to that anyway. It was like, let me get rid of this Stream Deck so I could have a clean desk. I just wanted the clean desk base. Let's see. Question. Do you make your live streaming content schedule for the quarter or for the year? Excellent question. Excellent question. So what I used to do, Erica, is I used to, and I still have done this. I've done this for 2025. I have created a planner that I introduced last December, may have even been November, for my Stream Bosses Academy community for an entire year of planning out live stream shows in conjunction with your offers. Okay. What I found at the beginning of this year as we started to implement is that I was having to change course based on certain trends. So, depending on the niche that you're in, depending on the topics that you talk about, you have to look at, are my topics evergreen? Meaning, if I talk about something today, is it still relevant 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 2 years from now? Because if it's not, then you could potentially be planning on a quarterly basis so you stay in tune with the trends for your niche and you can move quickly and tackle topics that are relevant to your audience in the moment. The other thing that I've done, even when planning out a year, is I am very good now, I wasn't at first, about giving myself grace. That when I needed to switch things up, I could do that. I could give myself grace and say, you know what? I was going to talk about this topic this week, but I decided this topic is more relevant based on the questions that have been coming my way, based on what people are talking about in the industry, based on what's happening in the news, right? So I give myself the flexibility now to be able to move things around. But the purpose of having a plan in the first place and being intentional about your schedule is that you don't run out of ideas and you never end up using that as your excuse for not doing a live stream. So that was a great question. Thank you. How do we connect with Stream Bosses? So very soon, I'm not taking new members at this time, Cornelius, but very soon in 2025, after I go through a launch within our Stream Bosses Academy of our new program suite, January will be revealing and opening back up the doors. But if you go to my site at streamlikeaboss.tv, so you see my site there on the screen right below here. If you go there, you'll be able to sign up and subscribe for my newsletter, which really isn't a newsletter as much as it's when I share updates, okay? But do that if you would. Stay in touch and connected. And if you need to set up a discovery call, if there's something that you want to work on this year before the year ends, go ahead and set up a call and let's connect. Yeah, I am super excited about. I'm excited about some things. I'm excited about 2025 for um, the business. And by that, what I mean is where you focus your attention is where things will grow. And building wealth, I've heard this over and over again and seen this very frequently in my timeline this week. We have to be focused and intentional about what we are doing to build wealth for ourselves and our families and our communities. And that is something that I'm definitely working on. So it's not just about, remember we talked about how live streaming versus pre-recorded? I don't want to just be doing live streams just to come out here and talk at you. I want to do these streams. I prefer to create content because the goal, the end game is that I want to show you how we can partner to help better your life, to help improve your business, your strategy, your content, how you're doing things. It's not just about me. In fact, none of your live streams are really about you at all. They're about the people that you want to affect and impact. So when you keep that in mind and you also look at your streams as just another form of communication and conversation, then I think that you can get more satisfaction from that. Personally, I feel that way. But also you are helping other people to be impacted in a positive way. There's so much benefit to doing live streams. So much more in my mind, even though it can be slower than if you're doing produced video, right? So the combo 1-2 punch is something that, again, Erica touched on it earlier in her answer when I asked the question. Your goal is to really have a mixture of all three types of videos. It's a mixture of on-demand or produced videos, in addition to live streams, which are regular or on some type of recurring schedule, and then having the short clips, short video content. So long form video content, short form, medium size, right? But having a variety of different formats is what can really do well for you when it comes to different platforms right now. Especially YouTube is what I'm seeing is the combination. Yes, let me pop this up. I got to put this in big words because this is a message I want people to really get. Where you focus your attention, your results grow. Please, y'all, please. We have got to be positive. We've got to be focused on what can be done. What can we accomplish? Not what is stopping us, what is keeping us from doing what we need to do, what is blocking us, but how can we move forward? How can we create something positive? Streams equal conversation. Danny Marie, I know that you are doing some amazing things in the world of podcasting. So do not be surprised if I reach out. Because next year I'm going to be bringing guests back on the platform. And I would love to see if we might be a good fit. So I'm looking at my list. I got a long list of folks, but I would love to connect. All right, folks. Well, thank you for having me. Yes, exactly, John. Long, short, live. That's the mix. That's the magic formula. I hope. Carlos is launching. Carlos, you're going to be launching your podcast again soon. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. We need to flood the airwaves with positive energy, y'all. We need to do that. Flood the podcast world, flood the video streams, all of that. You all are some amazing people. Everybody that I see here in the feed, yes, Holy Grail. Yes, they are. You all that I see here in this stream right now, all of the comments, I know just about every single one of you, even if you don't know me. I've recognized your names because sometimes I'm out there lurking too. I'm looking for positive energy. I'm looking for people who are doing positive things. And I know that folks are doing things that are good and useful and helpful. I've launched an OTT service tech for podcast and movie media. Look, Carlos he's definitely a genius when it comes to that space. So another person that you want to follow. Thank you, Gary Jones Jr. in the house. If you're gaining any insight, hit that like button. Hit that like button and subscribe, y'all. Make sure you do that. I love when my friends remind me to remind other people. Thank you. Look, I'm going to pop that up because I always forget. It's great to see you too, Carlos. It's great to see you too. I needed to put myself out here and to make sure that that I show up with a smile. I still have a smile. I still have joy in my heart. I hope you do too. We got babies to feed and, well, not babies anymore. I don't have babies anymore, but some of you might. I have a 23-year-old and a 17-year-old, no longer babies. But we got people that we need to feed, not just physically, but spiritually. So how we show up as adults, they're watching. They're watching, they're paying attention. Okay, folks. So I gave you the recap. We talked about live streaming versus pre-recorded and some other things too, some extra, some bonus stuff. But I hope you found it helpful and useful. I hope that I will see you again in our next stream. We're here most Thursdays. I've given myself permission to say most Thursdays, but every now and then I got to take a break on a week. And, you know, sometimes on those weeks I will give you a pre-recorded video, and sometimes we're all just taking a little bit of a breather and a break. But my goal is to absolutely be here with you next week, which will be, let's see, that's the 14th. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you then for another brilliant topic. If you've got suggestions or things that you want to know more about as it relates to live streaming or content marketing or video podcasting, make sure you leave me those questions in the chat, and I'll be watching for those so that we can put some things together and help you to find the solutions that you need so that you can go from crickets to cash and to, of course, conversations with potential clients. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Don't forget to do the whole like and subscribe. And they always will be my babies. You're right, Erica. I'll see you all next week. Take good care and be safe and stay strong.